Biopanther, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad you get to end your MSI run on a good note.
Yeah,
How does it feel to take down C9?
Oh, I'm just super happy that we're able to actually get a win. Like, it's really unfortunate that we're like eliminated, but like we get eliminated and we win. But I feel like I'm just really happy to do the best that I can, and we can still show that we can compete with these teams.
Well, I'm glad that this makes you smile at least, but does it make it special for you that you have an impact on Cloud9's destiny with this one?
Yeah, like this is actually insane because for them, like this was like an expected win for them. So to make an upset and might like change the whole like seeding for them, it's really big. And it's like I'm really proud of my team because this is something that we've all been working really hard, and we've just had so many issues that we've had to overcome as a team. And it's just amazing to like be able to perform on stage for the first time on a Rumble stage.
We'll talk about the issues a bit later, but the positives from this one. What made it different? Maybe the fact that you had less pressure, maybe?
I think it was just more like we had like a clear game plan, and it was like something that we're comfortable with, and it's something that we were practiced really well. Because like for us, we didn't get a lot of scrims, so playing champs like Kiana and Zed is like very unique to us, but we weren't very like versed and practiced on like those type of play styles. So for us to just play a front to back, mage, AD carry, and just be able to like set up objectives really easily was like our game plan, and it was just super easy for us to execute.
Well, I'm glad you finally got what you wanted to show us on stage. What about the learnings from this tournament? You got to play against the best teams in the world, the current world champions actually. Anything you learned from that you'll take back to OC?
I think the biggest learning is about utilizing everyone on the team, because for us, we don't utilize everyone on the team, where every other team, whenever they make a play, it's usually they support jungle, mid on the same play. But for us, we usually don't have that same synergy. So like that's my biggest learning, is just like using all the tools that we have to make the certain play that we want to work. So yeah.
Now, that's a good thing for you because they're going to have no chance against you at home this summer. Focusing a bit more on the tournaments now that you're out, we know that Damwon Kia qualified, RNG qualified, and now you have PSG, MAD, and C9 battling out for the 2 remaining place. Who will make it out?
For me, I'm really rooting for PSG because they're like the underdogs that like have been really showing up and performing, and they seem like a really top contender. If they really can get through, like they're like my players to watch, like their team to watch for sure, to like make the biggest upsets in the Rumble stage. They
became the fans' favorite by their amazing performance. I love it. Last words for you, Biopanther. Is there anything you want to say to the fans, your coach back home who's been helping you from Discord? Anything. This is your moment.
All right. Thank you so much for everyone to like supporting us, because it's been such a rocky journey for us, and for us to actually get a win and show that we can compete in the Rumble stage on the big leagues is really like important and big for me. So just keep supporting us for the rest few games, even though we got eliminated. So yeah.
Well, thank you for being part of this journey, Biopanther. You still have more games to play tomorrow, so we'll be looking at this one. And yeah, thanks again for this interview.
Thank you.
And Sjokz, back to you in Cooldown.
Thank you so much, Laure. What a wonderful interview. Welcome, everyone, to MSI Cooldown. Listen, this is not about being biased towards one thing or the other. It is about celebrating something amazing, and that is Pentanet, who beat the odds, who had a region that was gutted at the beginning of the year, who made it all the way to MSI, and against all odds made it to the Rumble stage, and now get this huge win. And there's not a lot of things you can do to celebrate the LCO, except for a shoey.
A Red Bull shoey.
A Red Bull shoey.
For that matter.
Pentanet.
This one goes out to you guys.
This one's for you.
And all the OCE fans.
Oh my God, true champions.
Wow. I don't know whose shoe that was, but yeah, thank you.
Me either, but yeah, let's hope there wasn't any foot fingers or whatnot.
Raise your koalas.
Yes, Mom, if you're watching this, I do have a serious job. But listen. This is not meant to be, of course, disrespectful to C9 or whatnot. It's really just lyric to celebrate the fact that this is a huge achievement that Pentanet did. They had really bad games up until this point, right? And I think the way they just, as Biopanther said, played together and engaged together in this game was really nice to see.
And it also, that interview showed a lot of the obstacles they have to overcome, right? Because he said in the interview, you know, we're not getting that many scrims, so it's really hard for us to practice some of these champions that we've been pulling out. They got on a more comfortable composition, and honestly, they just played this game better than Cloud9. I feel like these two comps, whoever is engaging the fight is kind of on the worst end of the deal. Both of these comps do really well kiting back, and PGG just did that wonderfully.
And I was saying in the green room, looking at the drafts, like Pentanet had a really scary draft at the start of the game, right? You have Senatam into Kai'Sa winning bot side, you have Set into Psy on top, winning top side, and then Udyr into Lilian and winning jungle matchup. The only real counter pick Cloud9 got in this whole draft was the last pick Tristana into Victor, which didn't amount to much because the jungle support and AD carry are winning up, so they can move into mid and push out waves, which has to help them out. So they relieve the pressure in mid, and from there, they're mid to late game, they outscale, and I just think that they just played phenomenally.
And Lyric, what's your kind of read on that? Because we have seen Cloud9 be very, very successful with these double marksman compositions, especially with the Tristana mid on perks. What's the thinking there that, you know, they obviously thought that this was going to work versus Pentanet?
I'll be honest, kind of like Caedrel said, when I saw these drafts, I kind of feel like PGG just got the better end of almost everything. I feel like when I look at Cloud9's draft, the only way that they can really take over the game is if Tristana, Lilia kind of snowball somehow mid-jungle, but Victor's too safe for that to happen. So you have like a lot of hurdles and a lot of mistakes that PGG need to make for your comp to actually come out ahead. So I think it was Cloud9 just trying to say, hey, we're going to go back to comfort. We think we're the better team. We think we can still pull it out. And yeah, PGG were just able to punish that.
PGG just had way too much range, right? Cloud9 could never really get in range of like a rapid fire Senna with a 5-item Victor with Infernal Soul, right? 4 Infernal Dragons, so much AP. And I think the biggest problem that Cloud9 have now is the fact that they've lost to Pentanet. Because coming into tomorrow, they're not on 3 wins anymore. They're on 2 now because they lost to Pentanet. Mad Lion's sitting at 4. So no matter what, they have to win both their games tomorrow.
So let's pull up the standings then, because this is the way things have played out now. And as said already, the only way Cloud9 can advance if they force a tiebreaker versus PSG or versus Mad Lions, I suppose. We're going to get the full lowdown in a second, but they can't immediately qualify anymore. And it just sucks so much more because earlier in the day, they beat RNG.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been our kind of up and down issue with Cloud9 all the time, is that they show these signs of being one of the best teams at this tournament who even could be capable of going all the way to the final. But then it flips, right? But they have to channel this tomorrow, and a lot of it.
This is the only team in the tournament that's beaten Damwon and RNG. We said that early on, but it's the only team in the tournament that's lost to Pentanet in round 2 as well, right? So it's so hard to say. I mean, that just basically tells you the ups and downs this team's having. From one game taking down arguably the best team in the tournament to losing to one of the worst teams in the tournament in the round 2, right? Props to Pentanet for bringing it off, but this was a must-win for Cloud9. Dropping this game is horrendous for them.
And I also wonder, I mean, we heard players in interviews also talk to kind of, it is a hard schedule, right? In terms of trying to keep your mind fresh and trying to make sure that you are well prepared for every single game and in the same mindset. And you can see a great variance in teams from day to day and even within a same day.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest thing now, sorry to interrupt you there, Eric, the biggest thing now is just Cloud9, tomorrow you face PSG and Mad. And if you don't win those games, do you really deserve to get into the round 2?
I just really wonder how much the pressure has gotten to Cloud9, because you think about it, right? They won a game earlier today that no one expected them to win, and they've been struggling against teams that you would think, hey, Cloud9 should have an easy time against. So kind of makes you wonder how much the mental is involved in these games.
I mean, definitely, you pro player as well, and it is there, and they know they can do it. They can do it. They can play their hearts out. They even did it versus Damwon, as you said, in RNG. But tomorrow is when they have to do it, and the same story actually for PSG, because we were so high on PSG just this morning, just at the start of the show for Countdown, and then they go 0-2 today.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about PSG. There's so many ups and downs in this tournament, right? Yeah. PSG obviously had a really tough schedule today of RNG and Damwon, right? So very tough games ahead of them. They lost both of them, unfortunately. They almost took down RNG a second time. It felt like they were in the driving seat a little bit, but yeah, they didn't pull it off. And yeah, very interesting difference we've got in teams here. We've got Mad Lions who struggle against top teams. They beat weaker teams. PSG who are fighting the top teams kind of, but aren't really there yet for the consistency. And then Cloud9 who can show up on one game and be one of the best teams of the tournament, show up in another game and be very, very weak. So these 3 teams fighting for these last 2 spots have such different up and downs, it feels like.
I think that's a great read, Lyric. It seems like every team has a lot of things to work on and then at times looks great. I do follow Biopanther a bit in that PSG have, for me, left the best impression, even though they've also not played perfect and they've dropped a couple of games along the way.
The thing that I like about PSG more than I like about Mad Lions and C9 is that Mad Lions have had games where again, when they can get off to an early start, they look phenomenal, but sometimes they're just slow. Cloud9 have been all over the place with their wins and losses to where, sure, PSG have been up and down to who they win and lose against, but it's like PSG have a set identity. You know what they're going to draft towards every game. You know how they're going to play out every game. And I feel like that is a big advantage going into the final day.
Yeah, and for me, the biggest takeaway of today was that the Western teams are now adapting to what the Eastern teams are throwing at them. They're adapting to this early game skirmish, early pushing lanes, early jungle camp contesting, right? They're not just sitting back waiting for scaling and relying on their team fighting. They're actually changing it up. So I think that's the biggest takeaway for me.
And I also think if you are, you're not connected to one or another team tomorrow, or you're for Damwon and RNG, then tomorrow is very exciting because arriving, as we look at the schedule, at the last day of the Rumble, where 3 teams are still vying for 2 spots, that's really what you want going into the last day. But let's look at the matchups.
Yeah, no, look at this stacked up like games you've got here. RNG versus Damwon. If RNG win out, I believe that they should be able to take first seed with the 2-0 up against Damwon if they win against Mad Lions as well. RNG versus Mad, an important game for Mad, fighting for third, you'd argue.
They did nothing in that first game.
Yeah, they didn't do too much, and then the 2 biggest games for Cloud9, right? PSG versus Cloud9, Mad versus Cloud9. If Cloud9 loses both these games, they're out. If PSG, I mean, they should win against Pentanet, so that'll put them at 5 wins. And then Mad Lions, they have to lose against RNG, and then they have to lose against C9 for C9 to have a chance.
And as always, tomorrow we'll, of course, have the full sheet, and we'll have the full layout of exactly how everything will happen, and we'll update you after every result. Lyric, since we won't have you with us tomorrow, what are your predictions as to how the Rumble stage is going to play out?
You know, I think RNG, even though I'm kind of starting to doubt them, I'm going to give them my faith. I think they can get first place. I think Damwon's obviously clearly already locked into top 2, so they'll get second. And PSG and Mad Lions are going to round out the top 4.
Well, we'll see. Crazier things have happened. It is all up in the air for Mad, PSG, and Cloud9. We'll see tomorrow. Get some sleep, because tomorrow is going to be a banger.
It is indeed.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Should we, anyone?
Should we? Go on.
Where were you when the West rose up? SK Telecom continue to rule the world. Uzi goes godlike.